Hello everyone, my name is Durgesh Dubey and the topic that we are going to discuss today is ART Bill 2021, that is Assisted Reproductive Technology. This bill is being discussed because new bill has passed in Loksabha by the name of the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill. All we are going to cover the constitutional and factual and relevant features of the bill along with issue related with the bill and way forward. So let's start. Lok Sabha has passed this bill. This bill was introduced back in September 2020. The major aim of this bill is to regulate the ART, that is Assisted Reproductive Technology. In other way we called it as IVF. In other term, to help the infertile couple to conceive for their new child. Let's move forward and discuss about IVF. So let's move forward and we'll talk about what is ART basically. It is basically a treatment which comes under fertility treatment. Fertility treatment is of use for those patient population who are unable to conceive naturally. Fertility technique, the biggest and most famous technique is in vitro fertilization, which is IVF. What happens in IVF? The important gamete for reproduction from the woman inside is the oocyte, that is immature cell, and from the male sperm. When these two meet, then a couple are able to reproduce same species from which they belong to, and it happens outside of the women body. So with the help of this diagram we will understand how IVF procedure is done. First we need to have egg site from the women oocyte, which is immature egg. Ovarian stimulation hormone therapy is given. By the help of that only we can able to extract the egg. Then we have the preparation of the sperm, the gametes from the male side, then egg fertilization occur. This process happen outside of the women body, and after that we inject the embryo. When it start to get developed, we inject into the mother womb, or when we are going for surrogate mother. That is called IVF. There are other technique also which include gamete donation, IUI, that is intrauterine insemination, ICSI, pre-implantation of genetic diagnosis. That means before we plant the embryo into the woman womb, we have a lot of research upon it. There is any genetic disorder that is being passed through, and gestational surrogacy. Now ART procedure sometimes use donor egg, which we have already discussed. It donor egg and use donor sperms are used, and previously frozen embryo are even used. Why we are using frozen embryo? So let's have a story like a woman who might have is entering into the in her late 30s. She have the fear to not being able to reproduce in the future. She can have a choice of getting her egg extracted and fertilized. It is with the help of designated sperm and keep it frozen so that at later time she can get it injected and reproduce. This technology will be helpful in that. In order to regulate everything with respect to ART, this bill has been introduced. Let's move forward and talk about the key features of the bill. This bill, which was passed on or introduced first in 2020 September 14, then it was detailed in about standing committee report in 19th May 2021. Now after a lot of debate and proper procedure has been followed in Lok Sabha before passing it, and it passed on 1st December 2021. If you talk about objective of the bill, that I have already discussed why this bill has came into this manner. Now we'll discuss further. To regulate ART, what does it define according to the bill as an ART? It defines all the techniques that have an ambition to obtain a pregnancy, in what manner the pregnancy should be handling with the help of a sperm or the oocyte, which is immature egg, and this should happen outside of the human body. That means that is in setup, laboratory or any scientific clinic. Also transferring the gamete and embryo to the reproductive system of women considering under ART. ART services we have to provide through proper channel, and ART services will be provided through ART clinic. So this should be registered. The clinic should be registered which offer ART related treatment or procedure. Also ART bank, as the name itself suggests, they store the gamete and also supply them in case of need. Regulation have to be done. Basically we have to make sure this technology is not misused. Every ART clinic and bank must be registered with the national registry, with a national registry database through which we can have all the information about the clinic as well as laboratory. Then the national registry designated as a central database with the help of this will. As I have already discussed, this will act as a central database. Also, a state government will be a point authority for the facilitating the registration process of the bank. Moving forward, we'll talk about clinic. They can only register adhering to the norms and procedure which led to the bill. That means manpower should be there, proper procedure and technique and diagnostic facility should be there. So if any firm, clinic, laboratory or even a bank is not adhering to the principle, it won't be registered. The most important point is the registration will be valid for 5 years and that can be renewed for the further 5 years. And if any bank, clinic can be contravened with the provision of the will, license can be cancelled anytime. Moving on, let's talk about what are the conditions, gamete donation and supply. That means sperm and oocyte. Screening of the gametes donation have to be done, and collection and storage of the semen can be only done by the registered ART bank. So if any bank has to function as an ART bank, they need to be registered, then only they can follow the procedure. Second and most important point is a bank can obtain semen from male between age of 21 to 55 years of age, and the oocyte will be available with the women belonging to the age of 23 to 35 years of age. There are certain other conditions which are dictating the extraction of egg from the women. Women should be married. She should be the above age of the marriage. She should have one living child that should be up 3 years of age. It means donor who are donating egg, she has to be married first, and other condition is that not only married, she should have a child, one living child with the age of 3 years. So these conditions are for the donor of egg. These two conditions also getting along. Rights of the child born through ART also have to maintain. The child who born through ART will be deemed to be biological child of the commissioning couple. Let's take as example what is commissioning couple. If any couple A and B who is looking for ART and they conceive a child through mother X, so A and B is biological parents of the child, not X. Let's move forward and talk about a child will be entitled to the right and privilege available on the natural child. It means if a couple is already have child, whatever facility they are providing to him, biological child is also treated in the same manner. A donor will not have a parental right on the child. Moving on, if we talk about the national and state board, surrogacy constituted under the Surrogacy Regulation Bill 2019, and they will act as a national and a state board respectively. As I mentioned, surrogacy bill, just remember that ART has been introduced to supplement of surrogacy bill. So under surrogacy bill, the national and state board will act as national state board respectively to the regulation of ART services as well. As the state board will coordinate the enforcement of the policy, whatever the national board will do, it will review the policy. It will assist to the government for the better policy achievement. It will also help to making sure the proper implementation is done. That will continuously review regulation. Assistance in better policy making will be done by the national board. Moving forward, let's talk about condition for offering the ART services. Written information sign in nature by both the couple, that is seeking party, that is couple A and B, and the donor. A donor can be a sperm donor or can be a oocyte donor, so written consent should be there. The party seeking ART services will be required to provide insurance coverage in the favor of donor for any kind of loss, damage or death occurring to the donor. This is much more important if we talk about the women right, because if we harvest egg, it is pretty invisible and dangerous technique. If it is not done properly, death can occur. To in this order, to ensure any kind of mishappening happen. Next is clinic is prohibited offering to provide child of the predetermined sex. This will also require checking of the genetic diseases before embryo implantation. That means if clinic is going to implant an embryo into women womb, before that it should have been sent to laboratory for checking genetic disease going to occur. Moving on, there is certain offences and penalties. This is pretty comprehensive bill. So offences, as you can see, what are the offences? First is abandoning or exploiting children who are born through ART. Second is selling, purchasing, trading or importing human embryo gamete. Third is more important, using intermediate to obtain donor. It is like a middleman. Middleman can't be used. Fourth is exploiting the commissioning couple, women or the gamete donor in any form. Fifth is transferring a human embryo into male or animal which is unnatural. So let's talk about punishment. What are the punishment? These offences will be punishment which is a fine between 5 to 10 lakh rupees for the first time of the contravention. If further more contravention occur, then the punishment is 8 to 12 years of jail and fine between 10 to 12 lakh or both. No court will be take cognizance of the offences bill except on a complaint made by the national or a state board or any officer authorized by the board. Let's talk about the necessity of the bill. Exponential growth of ART in last few years. The reason being a pretty late marriage. Women in general or couple in general, they don't want baby for 2 to 3 years after marriage. They want to child free for first few years of their marriage. When they plan child, that time there may be a certain reproductive challenges occur. Second is lifestyle choices. The body is not healthy enough of male or female to produce a child. So there has been a exponential growth. India has become major center of global fertility industry. The bill has come to provide a right uses of ART that can benefit for the required couple. The Surrogacy Regulation Bill 2019, Medical Termination of the Pregnancy Amendment Bill 2020. These three bills are going to support protect of women rights. Let's talk about the issues with the bill. First is discrimination in accessibility. This is only accessible to the marriage couple and who are heterosexual. Second is only married women can donate egg or oocyte. That is another issue. It also excludes single man, cohabiting heterosexual couple, and LGBTQ. LGBTQ means L stand for lesbian, G for gay, B for biased, T for transsexual, and Q for queer. Individual and couple from accessing ART. Next is no prohibition on foreign citizen ascending the ART, accessing the ART, and that is violation of Article 14 of the Constitution right of the equality. Other than that, the problem is with this bill is it is also violate right to the privacy in Puttaswamy cases. Supreme Court held that the sanctity of the marriage, the liberty of procreation, the choice of a family life, and the dignity of being should be protected at all the cost. Other issues are less or no protection to the donor. How? We saw only one thing insurance was there. Harvesting of egg is an invasive process, also dangerous one. If not done in proper manner, it may lead to the death. Insurance amount for which period and what would be the amount is not discussed in the bill. There is no amount has been mentioned. Also, it does not provide the counseling or the ability to withdraw her consent before or during the procedure. Let's move forward and talk about the ambiguity in disorder. Disorder are not specified before planting the embryo. Gamete has to go through genetic test that is without the consent of the commissioning party. That is an again issue. This bill is in risk of promoting an impermissible program of eugenesis. Eugenesis means in order to give furtherance to a species, selective mating happen, that is eugenesis. Might give any sort of furtherance to that. Next is hide the information. The ART child have no right to know the actual parent. There is imbalance between ART and SRB surrogacy regulatory bill. Duplicacy may occur, and the most important is possible of gamete shortage, because for every implantation the gamete had to go through. For the eugenesis there will be a shortage. It means they have to go through the genetic test, so there may be shortage of the gametes. Moving forward to the last slide, that is conclusion. Every clinic is specified which is continuing to this process should have ethics committee and mandated counseling services to the women who is specifically a donor and seeking parents, so that they can have a proper information about everything, about correct and informed choice. ART bank and clinic should work on national interest, friendly relationship with foreign state, public order, decency and morality. Thank you to listening to me. I tried my level best to discuss the ART bill, and if you like this, kindly go through the channel. Please subscribe the channel. Kindly do support us. You can comment also, so that I can improve upon and I can make a better video for you people, and it will help us and it will help our IVF Society. It will help all the doctors to get all the information. Thanks for your love and support. Thank you.